The trees, like, they're growing themselves. They don't be breaking out like the sheep. They're grand, like, you know. We used to keep a lot of sheep at the time, and we would grew a few spuds as well. There's marginal land we had for sheep, like, so we decided to plant it to use the premium to build up the potatoes, like, you know.
Well, at the time when I did it, I said to you, it was marginal land. It was suitable for grazing, but not for tillage. And I even remember at the time I had a local man who used to work for Coillte, and he said to me, "Brown, you'll make nothing out of that. You know, it's too fragmented." And here we are, 18, 20 years on, and I'm on my second innings on some of it. You know, there's a nice income coming out of it.
Why I had a dairy farm at the time, and I think the penny dropped first of all when my accountant said, in 10 years' time, do you expect to be out in the middle of the night calving cows? It got me thinking, and this was an out farm, so we decided that at least some of the land should be put into trees.
I was born into a small holding and on the edge of Portlaoise, and at some stage we became very restricted in what we could do, and in fact some of our land was compulsorily acquired, and at that stage I said, what am I going to do with the money that they're giving me for this land? So I can buy more farmland, which was an option, or I can buy other sort of land, and I bought forestry land.
Basically, my father planted the plantation back in 2003. He was a farmer stroke cattle dealer, and he got Parkinson's. He decided he was going to retire from farming, and forestry seemed to be the ideal fit for him at the time. Now, with hindsight, a lot of our neighbours have planted around us.
In my father's time, there were no premia and there was no grant either, that I can remember. It was just you made money out of the wood, you know. So I'm on second rotation in some of the farm at the moment.
I have plantations now that I have taken 4 tinnings out of at this stage, and really good stuff, top end forestry, if you like. But I mean, it blows everything in farming apart from dairying completely out of the water in what it does.
Yeah. But it was good that the premium was there to help us along, like, you know, to get you a leg up on, and we were able to do the loans when the premium was coming out, so that went straight into that there. Just give you that leg up then, that you were on a different level.
And at the present moment, I have a harvester on site. We're doing the first tinnings and the second tinnings on some of the other plots. I mean, go back 3 years ago, there wasn't that big a return out of tinnings, pallet wood, sawlog, but now there is.
So I actually did some of the thinning myself, and then I had the timber, and then I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? So just to kind of, I suppose, make the most out of what we had, I set up a firewood business, and it's been growing steadily, you know, year on year. So that's all the hardwoods now. We've just thinned them again. So I've got more timber down in the yard, and yeah, it's a small business, don't get me wrong, but it's growing, and it's enough to give me enough money to keep me here. And you know, that's really the objective of this, was that I can stay and live in rural Ireland and live in the local community. So that's the forest is allowing me to do that.
And it's funny, when we have people over visiting us, they always say, can we go down to see the forest? They never say, can we go out and see the sheep? Do you know, because they see the sheep in the field every year. So they go down to see the forest and they love it. So definitely as a thing to pass on from generation to generation, I think it's a fantastic. And apart from the tax benefits, I think to have an emotional attachment to something is great.
Very happy, very happy. I mean, I've this girl looking after me as well as a result.
Well, you'd be very vulnerable. Like, you'd be relying on some of the other forestry companies, and they'd be telling you what the price is, and you're kind of hearing, oh, price of timber at roadside, no, maybe it's worth this, it's worth that. At least now we're out there, and as a producer group, we're a maker of a price instead of a taker.
All around the country there are producer groups. There are 9 in our umbrella producer group called Irish Forest Owners. They stretch from Donegal to Louth to Wexford.
It's almost like standing at the ring in a cattle mart. You get to hear what's going on, who's who, what's what, who to deal with, who not to deal with, what Johnny is doing up the road and how he got on. It's a good forum for knowledge and information, and for, in a way, for problem solving. And I find it as well. It's a safe space.
And it's only when we joined the group that we actually discovered that there's loads of people like us, that we're all first generation foresters. We're all out there and our knowledge level was all very similar.
It was great, like, because like I say, I knew nothing about trees. I mean, I knew plenty about spuds and sheep and that, but nothing about trees. Like, so you're with people and we're going to field days and that there, so you're learning, like,
I would be actively involved in what's going on, if that's what you're asking me. It wouldn't be much good now to chainsaw.
I would encourage everyone to go walk in their woods and just bring along, a little saw or something with them, and you can just prune as you go along, and then you get to know your woods as well. I think that's a really important thing, is to know